Sam Gerthy, aka Cannonball, is a mutant who first appeared in 1982's Marvel graphic novel issue 4, The New Mutants. Since, he's been a fascinating supporting character who has shown up not only in main 616 continuity stories, but also in a slew of alternate realities, known for his ability to propel himself like a jet. But Sam's powers are much more nuanced than that. He's got a few nifty tricks up his sleeve that aren't explored as often or understood. So today we are diving further into what this mutant can do with our list of the top 10 superpowers you didn't know Cannonball had. And at number 10, thermo-chemical energy. Let's start off this list by addressing the basics behind Sam's powers. He possesses the ability to generate something called thermo-chemical energy from his body, releasing it from his skin. This is energy that allows for the mutant to thrust himself and propel his body through the air, not dissimilar to a rocket. In the early days, he was only able to emit this energy from his feet and his legs, but nowadays his skills have improved tenfold, and he can release this energy from any part of his body, but we'll dive into more of that a bit later on. And at number 9, superhuman durability. This one is kind of a given when your mutant power is literally flinging yourself through the air at dangerously fast speeds. When using his powers, Sam's durability increases significantly, all thanks to the energy field that forms around his body. When not using his powers though, he's as vulnerable as a regular old human being. Despite what he's learned in his training, of course. I mean, that'd come in pretty nifty. Like, imagine you just wanted to show off to your friends and then you're just like, I'm gonna shoot myself into a wall and then break through it like the Kool-Aid Man and live to tell the tale. And at number 8, willpower. Shooting oneself through the air is no light matter. Is that a pun? I guess. If you think about it, it could be potentially fatal for Sam to do so, but that's where this facet of his powers come in. He is able to maneuver his body, control his speed, and change his direction solely through sheer willpower. This could potentially answer why our next number has been a question for those of you who are Cannonball fans. And at number 7, his power levels vary. Over the years, Sam's powers have varied wildly. As we mentioned earlier, in the beginning, Sam was only capable of emitting thermo-chemical energy from his legs and feet. And while his ability to manipulate his blast fields are pretty consistent, more on those later, the full range of his powers have been speculated. At his peak, we've seen him plummet to the ground from a high altitude and completely devastate several city blocks. He's also faced foes that are considered quite strong in the Marvel universe. One thing is for sure though, when he applies thrust to his powers, there is a significant hike in what he can do, like increase his strength enough to lift over a ton of weight. Up next, number 6, flight. Duh. Right? But Sam's ability to fly is one that has a history. Now, in the early days, the character wasn't able to stop himself once he throttled himself into the sky and began to fly. Despite being able to maneuver in order to fully stop, he would have to find an object strong enough to force him to stop by holding onto it or straight up crashing into it. Or he would keep flying until his powers ran out of energy, as if he were some sort of propeller plane puttering out of gas. But now, after years of practice, the character can stop himself without having to resort to those tactics. I guess practice does make perfect. Up next, number 5, he might be immortal. It has been speculated that Sam is a member of the Externals, an immortal mutant group not to be confused with the Eternals, the race that Thanos and Eros belong to. Context time. The Externals are a rare subspecies of mutants who are immortal, are capable of rebirth, and can absorb power post-mortem. It varies, and most of them were X-Men antagonists over the years. Each External represents an intangible concept, like despair, fortitude, wisdom, opportunity, patience, corruption, the list goes on. So why is Sam presumed to be an External? Because of his ability to come back to life after being killed, as seen in X-Force issue 9 from 1993. While his status as an External is not clear, and Cable has even stated his belief that Sam is not an External, despite stating in the past that he was before, his awakening was something that was felt by all of the other Externals when it happened. It's also worth noting that he died twice over the years. And the intangible concept that he's associated with is hope, so oh. And at 4, King of the Dwarves. Alright, this one is a bit obscure, but back in What If Volume 2 issue 12 from 1990, in a story titled What If the X-Men Stayed in Asgard, the one in which Storm becomes the new goddess of thunder, Sam ends up staying too. And he falls in love with Kindra, the daughter of Eotree, the Dwarf King. The fellow that Peter Dinklage played in the MCU in Avengers Infinity War. Eotree dies later on in a battle, and Sam ends up taking on the mantle of the King of the Dwarves, under the name of Sam the First. One can assume that the title comes with the perks Eotree had, which was an expertise on forging weapons and an extended lifespan, the latter likely being what Sam would have inherited. And to be fair, considering that when the X-Men were in Asgard, Cannonball pretty much saved Odin's life, so he definitely has earned the respect of the Asgardians enough to take up such a title. Moving on to number 3, BIO-KINETIC blasts. One of the many tricks Cannonball has pulled over the years when utilizing his thermo-chemical energy field propulsion is that he can create biokinetic blasts out of his hands, like concussive blasts. It takes a lot of concentration to channel it, but it has proven to be an effective attack. In addition to this, he was trained in hand-to-hand combat by Cable and has become an efficient fighter that way. Moving on to number 2, energy absorption. Cannonball can absorb and redirect energies from others. In Uncanny X-Men issue 341 from 1997, he took on Gladiator, aka Kalark, the warrior from the Shi'ar Empire, the Shi'ar Imperial Guard leader, who gives off some serious Superman vibes, might I add. Gladiator is a pretty strong dude. When fighting him, Sam was able to absorb his punches and redirect their energy force to use as an attack. That's not the only thing that he can do when it comes to energy absorption though. He can absorb outside kinetic energy to add to his own energy supply, making our next number even more powerful. And at number 1, his blast field. Perhaps the coolest thing that Cannonball can do is that he can manifest his energy as an impenetrable and practically indestructible blast field. Not only does this act as a very specific force field of sorts that protects his body incredibly well, he can also do a whole lot of other neat stuff with it. He can extend the energy to encompass him like a personal shield, extend it far enough to protect others under that shield, and he can shape it in various ways. He's done so to imprison foes in the past. And when he absorbs outside kinetic energy, Sam has used it to increase the power of his own attacks and blows, and can even create explosive shockwaves upon impact. But it is important to note that anything he does with this blast field takes a lot of concentration. He's essentially emitting this energy and actively concentrating on not blasting off, so that he doesn't propel himself into the air when he uses it. Alright, there we have it, friends. What do you think about Cannonball? Are you a fan? Don't really know much about him? Want to know more about him? Well, give us a shout in those comments below and let us know. If you guys dug this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button, spread that love and share it with a friend, and also subscribe to Top 10 Nerd if you haven't already. We'd love it if you stuck around some more. In the meantime, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.